Hello, welcome to Kratom Sobriety. This is another special on a Wednesday where we interview experts or people with lived experience with Kratom. And we have a returning guest, our very first time somebody has appeared twice on the podcast. And you might remember her. It's Emily from episode 60 in May. She told her quitting Kratom story. And we've invited her back this time to talk about this product that she launched this summer called Quit K. It's a supplement to help you with your withdrawals while you're quitting Kratom. We're going to talk about the ingredients in there. And I just want to welcome you back, Emily.
Thank you for having me. I feel very honored.
Before we get into the Quit K supplement, how is your Kratom quit going since you last appeared?
It's been really good. So I was on in May and I have not had any Kratom since. And I'm just over my 1 year mark of officially quitting Kratom. Like I told you, there was a couple slip ups, but nothing where I got back into a daily habit of using it. So that has been awesome. And then an interesting story, I had a baby in July, and after my C-section, they prescribed me hydros, which I was not going to take, but the second day in, I was in a lot of pain. And I took one.
Yeah.
And I've never, since taking Kratom, I've never taken an opioid. So I was curious about the similarities. And I did. I felt the euphoria that I did when I take Kratom. And so I knew right then and there I can't keep taking this. So I threw out the rest of it. But I would have never noticed that or been that in tune to it had I not gone through the whole Kratom experience. But there was definitely a similar feeling.
Congratulations on this healthy child.
Oh, thank you.
That's one of the things I wanted to ask you. You've had some events. We wanted to celebrate that with you.
Yeah. Since quitting Kratom over a year ago, I've gotten married. I just had our baby girl, and life has really gotten a lot better for me, especially mentally. Before Kratom and on Kratom, and that's part of the reason why I was taking Kratom, was anxiety and depression. And now I just feel like I'm in a really good spot and life is going good. So I'm happy to be where I'm at.
Happy to hear good news. We quit Kratom not for things to get worse and harder, though sometimes that does happen to people.
It did at first, though. I almost didn't get married. It did at first, for sure. It took me a couple months to come out of it all.
All right. Another big thing is you launched this product, and how are things going with it?
It's been very fun, exciting, but also very challenging with some learning curves. One of the biggest obstacles that I had no idea about is Kratom isn't federally regulated. It has become pretty regulated online to do marketing ads. So on Facebook, Instagram, Google Shop, even Amazon, you can't use Kratom. And on the product, it says Kratom Recovery Complex. So it's automatically flagged as a Kratom product, which it's not. So to do ads has been very challenging. And even we got approved to be sold on Amazon, and then it got taken off Amazon because of our packaging. And we're still working to get it reinstated. I think they use like AI. So it'll get approved and then quickly get taken back off. So that's been actually extremely frustrating and part of the learning curve. I might have to repackage or rebrand. That's been interesting. But in general, we've sold over 300 units. My goal was to be about 500 right now. So it's a little bit less than I was expecting, but I'm pretty happy. That's about almost 300 customers we've had. And overall, it's been very positive.
I understand that advertising. I did a little bit of that just for the podcast when I first started out. And if you use the word Kratom, it
won't get approved. And then it's hard to reach. Yeah, it's hard to reach the people you want to reach that are looking for that or a Kratom supplement or Kratom recovery. I think it's awesome that it is, but it's hard when you're trying to get your product out to the right people.
Hopefully we'll let some of the audience that you're trying to reach learn more about this through this podcast. And I try to focus on the positive, but I know that there has been some pushback about the product. I think it comes from people are like, they were sold a bill of goods on Kratom that it was a certain way, and it was on podcasts and it was on social media and maybe even word of mouth. And so they're skeptical of maybe they're being sold another product to make them feel better, and they're skeptical. And if you bought these supplements on your own, you'd still have to pay for them. So this ambivalence that it's somebody's profiting from addiction. It costs money to package and put these in the money, so you can't distribute them for free. I wanted to give you an opportunity to just address that.
Yeah. I'm a very open book, honest, transparent. This is a for-profit company, but it came out of a need. It came because I was in the same position that everybody else who's addicted to kratom and wants to get off of it was on, and they want to find an easier way. And a lot of people are turning to supplements, and it's a very common question, what supplements will help me with the withdrawals? And a lot of the same people that had success with supplements were recommending the same supplements, or recommending stacking them or combining them with others. And I just found it very odd that there wasn't one supplement that had all of this in it. I found a solution to a problem, I felt. And I wasn't not trying to take advantage of anybody. I'm very transparent of what's in it, how much is in it. If somebody wants to go purchase the stuff individually, they're welcome to, obviously. And I'm not claiming that this is an automatic cure-all and it's going to make you feel euphoric and take away your addiction and you're not going to have any issues. It's still going to be a process to quit kratom, and it's going to take your own willpower to stop too. But I obviously don't like hearing that people think I'm taking advantage, but at the same time, it is a business I'm trying to run, but at the same time, help people and create a solution for people that makes it easier to quit kratom.
I think to me, it seems attractive because you don't have to buy them individually, which drives up the cost. And you have all these bottles sitting in your cabinets in your bathroom.
I think people would be less likely, the more pills or tablets or whatever you have to take, the more of it and more different, the less they're going to stick with it. This just makes it easy. It's one product that you take once in the morning and once at night, and you don't have to worry about how much of what and when to take.
There's a lot of convenience in the way you're approaching this product that will, I think, could simplify people's lives. For me, the more options that there are for people, the better. Nobody's being forced to buy this. They can buy the individual ones off the internet or at their local pharmacy, or if they want to just make one purchase and simplify this way, that's an option. And nobody's being forced to do this.
And it's not, obviously they're not being forced to do it, but I'm also not saying it's the only way to quit kratom.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think the issue of kratom is we need all hands on deck. So I don't think we need individuals working on themselves. We need groups and volunteers working. It'd be great if there's some government helping somewhere, but this is an opportunity for the marketplace to respond to a problem. I work in the nonprofit sector, and everything isn't solved just by nonprofits and volunteers. There's a need for entrepreneurs can make a difference. So I do think the last, and we're going to go on to positive, we're going to talk about the ingredients. I think one of the other issues, there's this idea in the quitting world that you have to suffer the withdrawals. And if you don't feel them raw and go through them, you're not going to have the experience of a bad enough that it'll make you stay quit forever. And I don't think that's necessarily true. I don't think you have to suffer more than you have to. If you can take a little bit of the pain away by using the supplement, I think that's perfectly acceptable.
Completely agree. I think if you're addicted to anything, you're already suffering.
Yes.
But to be honest, it's still going to be hard, even with Quit K. Hopefully it's not as hard, and your withdrawals and the post-acute withdrawals syndrome doesn't last as long. That's the ultimate goal of Quit K, but still going to be hard. You have to have a little bit of willpower and a drive to want to quit. So it's not like taking this is just going to be a cure-all.
Yes.
Yeah, you're already suffering, and I hope that I can make it a little bit easier on you.
What I thought we could talk about was what's in the supplement itself. I know you have two formulas, one for the morning and one for the evening. So I guess we can start off with the morning formula. Could you talk about that in general?
Of course. So the morning formula is really targeted at getting the right vitamins in your body for detox, recovery, and absorption of the other nutrients that are within the formula. And it's Also has the best adaptogens and amino acids for increasing dopamine and serotonin to re-regulate the mood and feel good chemicals in the brain without having to take kratom, because that's what essentially kratom is doing. It's basically a hit on your receptors to release dopamine and serotonin, and your brain starts not doing that without the hit. So when you take away the kratom, we need to naturally increase that so you're not having really bad depression, anxiety, low energy. So that's mainly in the morning formula. And then with the morning formula and the nighttime formula, there is a couple things that are in both of them, like L-theanine and 5-HTP, that both help regulate with mood and sleep and is best taken throughout the day. So that's why they show up both in the morning and the night formula. And what I really did is I went through the worst symptoms that I was experiencing with my withdrawals and looked at see which supplements are going to help with those. And so these symptoms seem to ring true throughout the majority of people experiencing withdrawals. So for me, insomnia and restless legs was huge. And so the valerian root, passion flower, magnesium, GABA, 5-HTP is all helpful for that. Most except for the GABA and 5-HTP are just in the night formula, but the 5-HTP is obviously in both. And then low energy. So low energy is caused by sleep, but also vitamin D deficiency, B12, iron, and then ashwagandha also helps with increasing energy. And then anxiety and depression is huge with withdrawing from anything, just because your chemicals in your brain are being depleted. So that's where the L-theanine, L-trizazine, GABA, 5-HTP, ashwagandha again all helps increase serotonin. So some people will get on an antidepressant when they're going through the withdrawals, and I also think that's a good solution, but it is something that you need a prescription for. And I would say that's one thing to be cognizant of, is depending on how high dose of an antidepressant you're on, you might be increasing your serotonin too much with taking this supplement and an antidepressant. That's one thing that doctors had said to be cognizant of. And so that's, if you are taking an antidepressant, I would definitely say talk to your doctor before taking this too. There's a thing called serotonin syndrome that has side effects. Passion flower helps you relax. 5-HTP, magnesium, and vitamin D all help. And so that's how we went about creating the supplement, is what are people experiencing and struggling with, and what can we create to eliminate those side effects? And then maybe not even eliminate them, but decrease them.
I noticed in the morning formula you have vitamin C. Is that similar to the vitamin C protocol that folks really talk about in the forums? Is that the same purpose, or is that different?
So in the forums I'm seeing, and I did talk to the pharmaceutical compounding company about this. So in the forums I saw that a lot of people are recommending a very high dose of, I can't even say it, liposomal, or how do you say it?
I'm not going to pronounce it, but it is a mega dose
of vitamin C. And so essentially when I created what I wanted in it, that was in it, the liposomal vitamin C. And the manufacturing company said, we can definitely do that, but you do know that it's basically just a marketing scheme. Your body can only absorb so much vitamin C, and the rest they said, if you do 100% of vitamin C, that's just as effective. And I know that what people write in the blogs and the forums say differently, but I've talked to a couple doctors and the manufacturing company that basically it's more of a marketing scheme than it is helpful.
I'm not a doctor. I did read a study that the vitamin C protocol, and this was like from decades ago, they in a more true opiate or opioid, that there was some benefit from that protocol. And it's one of those things where is it this group placebo effect that everybody believes in it and recommends it? That's part of the the effectiveness of it.
And I honestly don't know.
Yeah. And in the forums, people are suggesting that, and it's not like they're trying to sell vitamin C. It's something that's just passed
Yeah.
on. And obviously there has been some anecdotal evidence that it works. So
Yeah. And also, I was trying to make it so we had the best, most helpful nutrients condensed into 2 pills that you take in the morning and 2 pills at night. So had we done that, it would have been 3
yeah.
in the morning. And they thought the benefit of it wasn't worth it. I was just trying to stay away from having to have too many pills. So I just wanted whatever was going to be the most effective in it.
I think it was smart that you listened to the experts that you hired to help you formulate this. And if people still want to do the mega vitamin C protocol, they have that option. The morning formula also has iron, and I just hearing stories. I've heard people talking about being depleted from iron after a long-term kratom use. Have you heard a similar thing?
What's interesting is I did have my blood work done while I was taking kratom. My iron was low, and also my testosterone and progesterone were low. And I recently had my blood work done again. Granted, I'm pregnant, so my hormones was pregnant during this, so my hormones are probably different than normal. But my progesterone, testosterone, and iron were all up from when I was taking kratom. So I do definitely think it affects your hormones and your iron levels. But I will say I'm also I'm not taking kratom right now, but I am taking the daytime formula of Quit K.
Yes.
Just because I am postpartum and I definitely had postpartum depression last time, and I'm trying to avoid that. And I think what's in the formula really helps with that. So I am taking that right now.
And the DLPA, is that what it's called?
Yeah, so I also pulled that from the forums, and I thought it was smart to include it because it seems like a lot of people take kratom for pain.
Yes.
Or they started taking kratom because they had chronic pain. So DLPA is a supplement, and I never took DLPA on its own, but I went off the fact that, granted, withdrawals can have their own sense of pain associated with them, but then also that was the reason why people were taking it to begin with. So it's supposed to help reduce pain, is why it's in the formula.
Okay. And with the morning formula, should you be taking these right when you wake up, or should you eat a meal? What's the best practice?
Yeah, you don't need to take it right when you wake up, but I would definitely take it in the morning hours. And I do highly recommend taking it with food. The iron and vitamins can make you nauseous on an empty stomach. The morning formula, definitely have at least a little bit of food in your stomach before you take it. And then I haven't experienced any nausea from taking the evening formula on an empty stomach, and I haven't heard anybody complain about it either.
Okay. And the evening formula, the first listed ingredient is magnesium. And I've heard people take that to help with sleep.
Sleep and restless legs. It's beneficial, highly beneficial for both.
Yeah. Valerian root and passion flower can help with that too. And then it has 3 items that are also in like you said, that are in the morning, the DPLA, the L-theanine, and the 5-HTP.
Yes. So those 3 all do help with mood regulation and sleep regulation too. And it was recommended that those be taken morning and night. So that's why all those are in morning and night formula.
Okay. And the instructions say to take these 2 tablets, the nighttime formula, right 1 or 2 hours before bedtime?
Correct. The mood regulation could take a few weeks before you feel its full effect. Mm-hmm. But with the nighttime formula, people are saying that they're sleeping better pretty quickly, like within a day or 2 of taking it. So you could honestly just feel a little bit more relaxed shortly after taking it. If you want to go work or work out, I want to go take the night formula.
Okay. Have you had any reports of side effects?
So I've only had 2 complaints, which I'm happy with. Yeah. It's hard to say if it was directly linked with the Quit K or if there's something else at play. One was a review that was written, and they never gave me any follow up, but they said that it tore up their stomach and felt like they had taken,
Gave them a terrible stomach ache and a burning sensation.
yeah, burning sensation. And the only thing I could think of was maybe they took it on an empty stomach because nobody else has complained of a stomach ache or a burning sensation from taking it. And I tried to follow up with him to get more insight on it, and I never heard anything back. And then the second complaint was a consumer that liked the morning formula, but said the nighttime formula was giving her a headache. And so maybe there was something in it specifically that gave her a headache, but also headaches can be a form of a withdrawal symptom.
Mm-hmm.
And she was trying to go cold turkey. It's hard to say what it was from, but she was the only person to complain of that side effect from it. Unlike anything, I think supplements, whether it's kratom or pharmaceutical, people react differently to. But for the most part, it's been all very positive reviews and insight that I've been getting back on it. Overall, for having almost 300 users, 2 complaints I don't think is very bad.
Yeah, and it's good you're obviously taking people's concerns seriously. You're listening, and that's all you can do. And 2 out of 300 seems a favorable response rate. Are any of these ingredients habit forming?
There's no real studies on this. Ashwagandha, through research, has said that can be habit forming, but not in the way that kratom is. You don't take ashwagandha and feel it immediately. It has to take some time to get built up in your system, and ashwagandha helps with better mood, better sleep. And so the suggestion from talking to doctors is that it's completely fine to take for a few months, but it's not something that you want to take for a year. Because then maybe if you stop taking it, you might have some withdrawal symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
But from doing my own research, I haven't heard of like the withdrawals that people have from kratom. It doesn't have such severe effect, positive or not, as taking kratom. So that's why we recommend, like, I probably wouldn't take quick K longer than 3 months. I would say a 3 month period would be a perfect amount of time to take it. It gives you time to start taking it before you quit to get it built up in your system. It gets you through the initial withdrawals and gets you past the post-acute withdrawal stage. So that would be the recommendation, is not to take it more than 3 months to avoid becoming dependent on it or having withdrawals from stopping taking it.
Okay. You already mentioned serotonin syndrome. Are there any other, or could be related to that, like interactions that people should aware with other over-the-counter meds or prescriptions that people might want to be mindful of?
Not that I know of, but with anything, if you are taking prescription pharmaceuticals, I would talk to your doctor and show them the ingredients and see if they have any concerns. I do know, because I'm breastfeeding right now, so I looked at if there's anything that you shouldn't be taking while pregnant or breastfeeding, and it does say that valerian root shouldn't be taken while pregnant or breastfeeding, which is in the nighttime formula. But everybody should do their own due diligence whenever they're consuming anything, especially being pregnant or on pharmaceuticals.
And that's one of the reasons why you're only taking the morning formula right now.
Yeah, and I don't need any help sleeping right now.
I've heard some people report that they got through their quit, they're a couple months in or even 6 months in, and they tried this product and liked the results. Have you gotten any feedback about that?
Yeah, so I niche marketed the product to kratom recovery, but essentially it helps with mood regulation, it helps with anxiety, depression, sleep, energy. It doesn't have to be for people who are just trying to get off kratom. It's marketed towards that, but I can definitely see how it does help people just feel better in general.
Yeah, and it might be something that could help with pause.
Definitely. And I think that's actually probably the main benefit of it. For me, that's what the biggest struggle was. The first, I think it was like the 5 days of going through the initial withdrawals, obviously sucked, and I didn't sleep at all, had terrible night sweats and restless legs and low mood. But I wasn't prepared personally for how low I would feel after quitting and getting through the initial physical withdrawals, how low I would be mentally. And so I do think avoiding pause is probably one of the biggest benefits, or just helping with pause or minimizing the low mood and low energy is probably one of the biggest benefits of taking quick pay. And that's why it's not just, that's why I don't say just take it just to get through your initial withdrawals, because that's just half the battle.
Yeah. Like we suggest for everybody, whatever strategy you're using to quit Kratom and stay off Kratom, it should be a whole life kind of social lifestyle change where you're exercising, you're getting out, you're not isolating in the house, you're eating right, moving your body along with taking this.
Exactly. Yeah, I think if you're addicted to anything and you want to get sober, it's going to take a whole lifestyle change. It's a whole holistic approach. And I did do on our website, you can download it. It's a quick Kratom ebook. And it talks about other things you can do to help you feel better and get past the withdrawals, whether it's a mental, how you talk to yourself mentally, stuff you do health-wise, eating better, drinking lots of water, taking magnesium baths, doing an IV right before you go cold turkey, just lots of other helpful things. Because I do think it's not just taking the quick K supplement. It's a mindset and it's willpower and it's changing your lifestyle, really. Because at least for me, when I was taking Kratom, it became a big part of my life. So to stop taking it, I had to fill that void with other things.
Yeah. And it can be a replacement habit, the ritual of taking your Kratom, which a lot of us were dosing multiple times a day, but this can be a new routine.
I was also going to say, I do think just the act of buying it and taking it consistently and daily and getting in that routine is helpful in general, because it's like, I'm doing this to stop and I actually have something in place that I'm doing differently than I was doing before.
Yes, I think there's a lot to that, definitely. Looking back at this, is there anything you would have done differently with the launch or the ingredients or the packaging?
Yeah, we touched on it before. This is my first go at it, and I guess I was a little naive to how Kratom was regulated online. So I wish I was a little bit more broad and not made it Kratom specific, just because it's been hard to market. And also, I don't want people to think that there's Kratom in it. And I think I've gotten questions through our website, does this have Kratom in it?
Okay.
And yeah, and I don't, that was never my intention. There's obviously not any Kratom in it, and I don't want people to think it and think that it's hidden in there somewhere. And I don't really know what the solution is yet. And I only had my baby a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I haven't given it the time and thought that I need to think if I really want to rebrand it and how I want to go about that. But that might be something I do in the future.
Not getting your whole business plan out, is there a certain level you need to get to for it to be sustainable and it's a market that it'll be a product that people can rely on and being available for long term?
Yeah, that is the goal, and I do definitely think we can get there. I actually had to hire my friend Kate to help me during the last part of my pregnancy and the last few weeks, just because we are getting orders and a lot of inquiries and fulfilling the orders and marketing. And essentially, to recoup my initial cost, it's 2,500 units I need to sell in order to basically break even, and that's the inventory we have. And so my goal is to hit that by January, and it's possible. I need to figure out a little bit different marketing strategy and ads, and it needs more of my time and energy into it, and hopefully I will give it that soon. But that's my goal. If I can get to 2,500 units by January, then I want to go full in on it, and then I would be able to mass produce more units at a lower cost, which will hopefully make it more affordable.
Excellent. It's not like you're making hands over fist of money now, and you're actually taking quite a risk on trying to get this out in the world. So we appreciate you doing that because people do find it helpful.
Yeah, no, and it's honestly been fun. And I honestly think that having created this and being in this community has helped keep me accountable and not falling back onto Kratom. But it's been fun to see it help people, and we've definitely had some people reach out and thankful for it, and that's always a feel good. feeling. So I definitely, the whole goal, I would love to see this become something bigger than it is right now. And so hopefully we'll be around next year.
And to be transparent, I bought some, but I haven't started taking it. I'm moving personally, and I'm going to be going to a new city. So I'm doing a geographic cure. We're going to be a new Charlie. And when I do that, I'm going to start off a week ahead of time with the Quit K and see if the new me going to the gym and eating and all that, see if I can tell the difference. Because I have interacted with a couple of people that were not in the middle of their withdrawals, but 6 months into their quit and spoke highly of it.
Well, good. I'm excited to hear what you think of it.
Let's see. Was there anything you would like to add that we haven't talked about?
No, I'm super thankful that you had me on again, and just that there's a community of people like you. And I've also found other people within your community that just want to help people and see this as a huge issue that a lot of people are struggling with. And so I'm grateful for you, and thank you for having me back on.
You're welcome. I do have a bias in that you did come to my attention. You were a listener. So I do feel a sense of loyalty to my listeners, our listeners. And so we're happy to have you on. And I do want to get the word out. I think the more options that people have for tools when they quit, the better. And this is definitely one of them that's available. So there will be a link in the show notes about this. And just like I've talked about in the past, this wasn't a paid placement. Emily offered to send me some on the house, and
I know, I feel like you should get paid for all the work you do.
But I'm very sensitive about all the podcasters that shill supplements and get paid for it. So this is just because I do believe in your intention here, and I want to just support another tool for the quitters out there, and I want to get the word out about this. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, Charlie, and good luck with your move.
Thanks, Emily.